Hey guys, and welcome back to the channel where we do talk all things true crime. I don't know if you heard a little like rumbling, but that was Mia growling at Araya. I don't know what's going on with them right now. So if you heard that little it was Mia. I was like, of course you're going to growl as soon as I go on live. But that's how it works around here. So we do have some co-hosts. I don't know what they're doing. One of them's laying over here for some reason. She's laying on the floor set up on her bed. So she may get up at some point. So if you hear some dog click clacks, I'm sorry. I'm really sorry. They just love to be in here. So if you aren't new to the channel, then you already know all this stuff. You're like all those crazy dogs. But welcome in, everybody. It's good to see you guys. It's good to see you. Yeah, we have co-hosts now here. What? Oh, what'd I do? I just did. Oh, there we go. I pushed the space bar and it took the chat away for a minute. I was like, oh, what'd I do? Been doing this for 2 years and I don't know what those things. I don't know what the buttons on this thing does. Like there's certain buttons for certain like keys or whatever. But look at that. Wist made it. I just asked about you yesterday or the day before yesterday. No, was the day before yesterday or something? I said, where's Wist been? Wait a minute. We're down. We're down someone. But I need to get back into watching the stuff with Madeline Soto. Did you see her baby picture they put on Twitter today? It was Grizzly Cat put it out there. She was a beautiful baby. She was a beautiful baby. Like stunning. Like I saw the picture and it was sad. It was really sad. Welcome in, Badger Witness. Hey, Mary Beth. Hey, Catherine. Hey, Ladybug. How you doing tonight? Hey, Faith. It's good to see everybody. My eyes feel like they're burning tonight. Ooh. I feel like it's allergies or something. I don't know what's going on. Welcome in, everybody. It's good to see you guys. Is that who that was? I saw that, Aries. 93. Well, I didn't know that, what's his name? Dick Van Dyke was alive. He just got like an Oscar or something or whatever he got. He got some award at 98. I was like, you're still alive? Yeah. He was probably like my first little crush when I was a kid. Like, like when you're like a kid, you have a crush on someone like older. Like you think they're like adorable for some reason. You're just not sure why. That was me with Dick Van Dyke. I thought he was like adorable. I think it's because he was so funny. Hey, Faith. Hey, West. Again. West again. I'm going to say West all the time now. Hey, Ms. Rosebud. Welcome in, everybody. Hey, Cat's Life. I'll get to the bottom here. And thank you, Mary Beth, for gifting out some memberships. I saw that you were gifting them out. Thank you. You gifted out 2 of them. Thank you so much. And whoever got a membership, make sure you tell our girl thank you. Juno's here. I saw Nash Native. I saw you on this chat, actually, when I looked over. Hey, Catherine. Welcome in, everybody. It's good to see everybody. We are going to talk about Idaho. We're going to talk about a couple things with Idaho. There's a few new things that have come out that are new to the case. So I figured, hey, let's talk about it. Plus, I have had these tabs open on my computer for the last week. And I'm like, we need to go through this. Meaning like the new Airmail article. So that's not too long. It's a 11-minute read. We've went in some of those articles, those Airmail article. What were they like? I think the first one was like 26 minutes. The second one was like 28. I don't know. They were pretty long when he first started. But he must be running out of steam. But we do have the 8th one. And then tonight, so then we'll go over that and we'll go over the change of venue and all of that stuff, which I cannot believe that he got change of venue. I mean, I can, but I can't. I can, but I can't. I don't know. It's just, I think that the defense got their way. I think that they're going to get their way so many times, though. I think they just overdid it. They just overdid it by getting another judge. What are you doing? You want my robe? Hold on one second. I want to these animals. I swear. Let me get her this blanket. I don't know what's going on with her today, but she just really wants to be next to me. So here you go. Just put your paws on the blanket so you don't make noise. Okay. Okay. Sorry about that. I'm really sorry, guys. I don't know what's going on with her today. She really wants to be like next to me. It's been really weird. I don't know. It's like she's even more than normal. Maybe she just needs me today. Callie, he has been pro-defense. And I thought at first it was kind of like he was just giving these wins to her, because in the grand scheme of things, it wouldn't seem as bad. But then it was like, we got to change a venue. And when I think this is going to maybe work against her, because I don't think she's going to find another judge like John Judge or Judge John Judge. Like, I just don't see it. I don't see her finding another judge that's that lenient, that's like gives her all that time to talk, all that extra, like he lets her get away with a lot, I think, anyway. And Jay Logston, which I haven't seen him in a hot minute. Was he there for the 6-hour court hearing? I didn't notice him. I didn't notice. Oh, thanks, Linda. I appreciate that. I really do. Now I got the other one back here doing something funny. I don't know what she's doing. They're all crazy. Her ears must be bothering her. Let me go ahead and pull up this article. Oh, she's going to go get in the other bed. So that way she'll be quiet too. Look at her. She's so big. That's an extra large bed. These are huge beds. She's usually laying like half out of it. It's pretty funny. It's usually pretty funny. Yeah, so if you guys don't mind, just sitting. I was going to read Anna. I was going to say like the video, but I was going to read your comment instead and say I'm just sitting in the dark. But you're listening in the dark. Oh, you might fall asleep. But thank you guys for being here. If you don't mind, just taking a second, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, all the buttons. It's usually not that chaotic here. I mean, it is. Who am I lying to? Who am I lying to? So let me get my glasses on, and we'll go through the Airmail article first. And then we'll see what old Howard Bloom has to say. He put this out on September the 7th. So just a couple of days ago. I think that's when it was. I feel like it was longer than that. No, I'm sorry. August 31st. I was going to say, I thought it was like a lot longer than that, that I had this up. But he is going to go over the defense and the trial being moved, like if it's going to be moved and stuff, because this is before we had an answer. So, but it's a pretty good article. I read through it before the live. So it's The Eyes of a Killer Part 8. Have Bryan Kohberger's defense attorney stumbled onto a get out of jail free card. This, I think, is the first time they had a listening option. Man, I'm tempted. I am so tempted. Ever try dodging a bullet? That's a challenge, all right. But suppose you need to dodge 5 bullets and each of the 5 shooters has a long gun aimed straight at your heart. Oh, and you're strapped tight to a chair to boot. Let me make this a little like bigger there. There we go. If you want to look at it. But suppose you need to dodge 5 bullets and each of the 5 shooters has a long gun aimed straight at your heart. Oh, and you're strapped tight to a chair to boot. But that's how things could roll in Idaho in a death penalty case. Don't like the odds? Then there's only one way out. Make damn sure they never get you into that chair. So your lawyers think and think and think until they stumble onto something, a loophole. And now if all the chips fall your way, it's a blindfolded lady justice who's thrashing in the chair, unable to wiggle free, and you're heading out the door having the last laugh. It's been a busy summer for Bryan Kohberger's defense team, with the trial at last scheduled for next June. This might have been the season to hunker down in preparation for the life and death courtroom battle that loomed, a fortifying period of calm before the inevitable storm. It's been nearly 2 years since their client's arrest for the unalivings of, I have to say that just right now because it's so early in the live, of 4 University of Idaho students. Yet time has not dispelled the advocates' zeal nor their commitment to process. And so at the tail end of July, after a flurry of court appearances where they never missed an opportunity to doubtfully espouse their belief in Kohberger's innocence, they filed a 300-plus page motion arguing that their client's constitutional right to an impartial jury had been impossibility of the trial were to play out in the small Idaho college town where the savage murders occurred. Instead, they wanted the proceedings moved to Boise, the capital city in the state's most populous, the comparison being relative, of course, county. In response, the prosecution has forcefully argued that it would not prejudice the case if the trial were to remain at the courthouse in Moscow, just a short jog from the victim's house on King Road. It would be impossible, they stated, to find any county in the state whose citizens were not aware of the events. This past Thursday, man, his name gets me every time. I swear it does. Judge heard the combatives' oral arguments as well as testimony from several expert witnesses who, having already fortified the defense's motion with an armory of bewildering charts and numbing statistics, pointed with academic authority about the imagined mindset of the potential jurors. And at the conclusion of the nearly 6-hour hearing, we are still waiting for the judge's decision. Should the trial stay or go? And that's, isn't that the worst? I didn't watch that court proceeding. I watched some of it. Like I've watched like chunks here and there. And good thing that we didn't sit here for 6 hours and listen to that. That would have been like so maddening if he would have been like, okay, see you later. And we were again with no answer. So I do understand that was a big decision, to move the trial or not. But it was like, oh my gosh, we have to wait again. So the readout, I would say this is probably professionally the most difficult decision I've ever had to make. The judge agonized. There are some really important things to think about from both sides. Nevertheless, there is a good deal in the defense's motion and oral arguments that, at least to the observer, seem likely to strike the even-keeled judge as factitious, cynical, and plain wrong-headed. Consider the desperate attempt to wring nefarious significance out of Moscow's police department's many public statements on the case. A thick pile of the actual postings was included in the motion, I suspect, to add heft to an overwise thin argument. During the nearly 7 weeks while the hunt for the suspect was still underway, if the premise is that the police reports much needed updates for a grieving and frightened community somehow cemented the locals' prejudice against a still unknown suspect, well, the logic escapes me. Then there's the claim that the news articles, books, and internet posts consistently spread untruths about the murders. However, if the defense were so deeply committed to getting the actual facts out to the public, then why had it also been gung-ho in its support of a gag order? If law enforcement and legal authorities are prohibited from sharing their insider knowledge with the press, what did the defense believe would fill the vacuum? In fact, it is inconvenient truth that the defense has done its own part to spread misinformation. The telephone surveys of prospective Moscow jurors conducted by their representatives, for example, asked about Kohberger stalking when the defense was well aware that there was no evidence of any interaction, in person or online, between the suspect and the murdered students. And I think they were putting those things in there on purpose so that they would have to come out and say those are untrue. That's Anne's way of getting, Bill Thompson to have to say, okay, yeah, no, that's not true. I think those phone surveys, they really just did a number on this in general. And I think that John Judge was probably thinking that when he made his decision. Because they were calling people in the county before he even knew it. But arguably the most misleading parts of the motion in the description of Latah County as a nice, quaint, close-knit community that sticks together. If only that were the case. The Moscow I have come to know sees with barely repressed tensions. It's a town where a liberal university that wears the happy distinction of being voted the #1 party school in the state is locked in constant conflict with a dominant church group set on turning the town into a theocracy. The Christian capital city of the Redoubt, as the new fiercely conservative American frontier, has been Christianed. No ifs, ands, or buts, a local lawyer told me. There's a civil war getting ready to erupt in the streets of Moscow. The head of this church, Pastor Doug Wilson, has made it clear that he'd advise any of his parishioners serving on the jury to approach this responsibility with an open mind, particularly if a Moscow cop were to testify against Kohberger. After all, we know what their officers have lied on the stand before, he explained, referring to cases involving church members who protested the town's pandemic restrictions. So much then for the defense's homilies about a close-knit community that sticks together and has already made up its collective mind to convict their client. But at this hanging moment in this case, it's still very much a political affair and one that is being followed with considerable interest in Idaho's corridors of power. It's my guess, therefore, that while the details of the defense's argument are spacious, its premise will go down well with the easygoing judge. Ooh, maybe Judge John Judge read this before he made his decision. Ooh, saying he's going to go down with the ship. He seems determined not to rock any boats, or more consequently, to provide the defense with fodder for an appeal. I suspect he will rule to move the trial to the bigger, again, everything is relative, stage offered by the stolidly monumental Boise courthouse. As a consequence, the jury will be impaneled from the 520,000 residents of Ada County, a population about 10 times larger than Moscow. Yeah. If they move it to Boise, do you remember what happened when Lori Vallow was moved to Boise? We got audio, and we had to beg for that. No visuals, just audio. Don't do that in this case to us. We can have another one of those, Only here's the thing: it quite possibly won't matter. Because despite all the noise from the constant rat-a-tat of defense motions, despite their fighting tooth and nail on every procedural issue, it's all been smoke. Sources knowledgeable of the defense's mechanisms or machinations say it's been a distraction strategy. Kohberger's team has been shrewdly manufacturing diversions, deft slates of legal hand designed to keep the opposition's eyes off their impending attack. And if it all plays out according to their plan, their client won't need to produce an impregnable alibi. It will be of little consequence that the explanation Kohberger finally shared with the court after more than a year behind bars, he had gone to ground in a wilderness park at 4 a.m. on the frosty, cloudy, pre-dawn morning to gaze consequently at the stars with when the murders occurred. Might strike him as a contrivance as persuasive as the old tale of the ill-behaved dog who devoured the diligent scholar's homework. Okay. Then to the testimony of well-credentialed expert witnesses regarding the fidelity of, say, DNA evidence or the cell phone tower triangulations. I can't talk tonight, sorry. Well, that will also become a relevant bit of theater. Saying they're going to be playing with us. And if little of consequence whether the jurors enter the deliberations with minds that are pristine, tabula, or raging with prejudices and preconceived notions. There are two seemingly unrelated events that lead me to what I believe may prove to be the defense's grand design. Okay. The first took place with little fanfare in the Moscow courthouse just 6 months after Kohberger's early morning arrest at his parents' home across the country in Pennsylvania Hills. Up to that moment, the prosecution had been offering only the scant evidence in the probable cause affidavit, surveillance footage that seemed to have caught Kohberger's car leaving the scene of the crime, and potentially incriminating cell phone tower triangulation data to explain how the authorities had, after nearly 7 long weeks, finally zeroed in on the suspect. And sure, DNA evidence was also mentioned, but forensic science only came into play after the authorities had rigorously built their case the old-fashioned way. It was merely the icing on the cake. Only that simply wasn't true, as the prosecution finally admitted. Bill Thompson, the Latah County prosecutor, famous in Moscow as much for his record of convictions as for his flowing white biblical beard, conceded for the first time last February that while maybe cracking the case was not so cut and dried. In fact, DNA, specifically the DNA found on the button snap of the knife sheath left tangled in the sheets on the third floor bedroom where two of the victims had been slaughtered had been instrumental in pointing the way to Kohberger from the start. The details, it would later be learned, as were follows. Matthew Gamet, the director of Idaho State Forensics Lab, had sent the minuscule bit of touch DNA, a cluster of cells smaller than a speck of floating dust and a whole lot less substantial, to Othram, a small Texas startup lab. The state already had contracted with the firm to use its investigative genetic genealogy techniques to solve cold cases. Sorry. In one unsolved mystery after another, the Othram technicians had, against all odds, produced DNA profiles from evidence found in long-buried files so that it could now be uploaded to public genealogy sites to look for a match. Gamet's game-changing insight was that the genetic profiles produced by IGG could also be used to identify suspects in red-hot cases such as Idaho's student murders. And Othram quickly performed its technical magic, producing a profile from the DNA found on the button of the knife sheath. But then the FBI stepped in, insisting that the Bureau's forensic genealogists take over. The DNA was sent from Texas to the FBI's Quantico, Virginia facility. Here, the federal techies tried to build out a family tree whose limbs would stretch to the killer. But law enforcement only has access to a few comparatively small genetic sites, which in this case failed to produce a match. Ancestry.com and 23andMe, private businesses with much larger inventory, prohibit the authorities from dipping into their pools of genetic information. It wasn't until weeks later, probed by the surveillance video, that law enforcement surreptitiously collected DNA from Kohberger's father. And this, presto, tied the DNA on the knife sheath to Bryan Kohberger. And that bit of deduction sounds vague. It's because it is, and that seems to be how the prosecution wants to keep things. Thompson maintains that the state is not required to reveal how it specifically used the DNA evidence to identify the suspect. The IGG process pointed law enforcement towards Kohberger, Thompson argued in a court filing, but it did not provide law enforcement the substantive evidence of guilt. The IGG information is not material to the preparation of the defense. The defense, however, demanded to see in effect how the investigative sausage was made. I'm concerned about the state's pathway of how Bryan Kohberger comes to their attention and is identified. Defense attorney Ann Taylor challenged in an oral argument before the court last winter, demanding the release of the FBI's IGG records. Over a year into this case, and we're not sure. I know different pieces, but I don't know where they fit together. This was the mobilizing salvo in a hard-fought 8-month-long legal battle over whether the government would release the IGG records to the defense. Last February, Judge ruled that the defense was allowed to review some of the requested records. The precise contents of this windfall remain sealed to the public, but what is clear is that from the start, the defense had been convinced the prosecution was deliberately concealing something about the IGG process. And now I'm told they think they know why. Who's telling you this? Ain't nobody from the defense speaking. For $200 an hour, they're keeping their mouths closed. No one's talking to him. Early on in my reporting about the case, I had been informed that the FBI had been onto Kohberger as a mere person of interest as early as December 11th, 2022, more than 2 weeks before his arrest. The official timeline, though, was a whole lot different. As the New York Times reported, by the morning of December 19th, records show investigators had a name, Bryan Kohberger. Digging further, I learned that the FBI had the suspect and his father under surveillance as they drove cross-country from Washington State to Pennsylvania for the Christmas holidays. That trip began on December 12th, a full week before the Bureau said they had Kohberger in their sights. At the time, I speculated that the feds had their reasons for not revealing their surveillance op even to the Moscow Police Task Force. Perhaps they were still not certain they had the right man and didn't want to influence the task force investigation. Or maybe they feared a sly defense attorney might charge that the local police, influenced by the Bureau's deductions, had tailored the evidence to fit the suspect. Yet there was also the more cynical possibility that the FBI's secrecy was motivated by pure self-interest. Cracking this case would be triumph and the feds were unwilling to share the glory. An arrest offered the chance to polish a politically tarnished reputation. But even as I was still caught up in the wondering why the FBI had kept mum about its surveillance of the Kohbergers as they made their way across the country, I was blindsided by its vehement response to my reporting. Rather than the standard pablum, it's Justice Department policy not to discuss an ongoing case. The FBI issued a statement asserting that not only were their agents not following the Kohbergers across the country, but at that point in the investigation, they had not even managed to identify a suspect. And yet, by then, their knowledgeable voices had chimed in to corroborate the alternative timeline. Andrew McCabe, former deputy director of the FBI, went on CNN to reveal that Kohberger was on the radar of investigators before he left Washington State and headed off on his cross-country journey. It's an incredible, complicated, well-choreographed ballet of surveillance efforts that would cross multiple FBI field divisions, he stated. Nevertheless, the Bureau continued to stick to its guns. Maybe that's what, maybe that's why, like some people were saying, he was followed and we know it, like surveilled. And some people are like, no, we don't think that he was surveilled. Like the police were on his tail. So, I mean, that kind of explains it a little bit more there. Why such venomous? I wonder. And then I had it. The case timeline. The case's timeline. Precisely when and how the Bureau put the pieces of the puzzle together mattered quite a lot. As it happened, this was also the crucial issue the Kohbergers' defense had been pursuing. And this was a gold seam that Taylor had hoped the IGG discovery information would reveal. The future of this case, possibly even whether Kohberger leaves the courtroom a free man or a dead man walking, hangs on the timeline. According to the public affidavit release at the time of Kohberger's arrest, it wasn't until December 28th that the authorities at last hit pay dirt. After Pennsylvania state troopers had made off in the dead of night with garbage from the Kohbergers' family home, a link to the suspect was conclusively made. The DNA found in the detritus belonged with a 99.9998% certainty to the father of the man whose DNA was left on the knife sheath. In that disputable way, the father had branded his son a killer, and the authorities at last had their man. Only what if the Bureau had identified Kohberger earlier than they admitted? What if they'd been able to make this discovery because the Bureau's genetic technicians had played fast and loose with the rules? And what if, driven by their zeal to find the monster who had savagely hacked 4 young students to death, they had ventured into legally protected genetic sites to gather the material that allowed them to construct the family DNA clusters that pointed the way to the grad student at a nearby university who drove a similar white car to the vehicle that had been observed at the murder scene. Such a scenario would allow the defense to argue that Bryan Kohberger's 14th rights had been violated, along with the rights of any of his relatives who had shared their genetic material with the expectation of privacy. In short, it would set in motion the legal maneuvering that could get the entire case thrown out. Yet for now, before the history of the Bryan Kohberger case can be rewritten, the defense must hastily muster up a new army of crucial facts and arguments. The initial motions to strike the death penalty are due in early September. Well, she's been on it. Let's see. She's already put that in. Now let me get me back on the screen here. That's okay. Man, my eyes feel like they're like on fire tonight for some reason. Like, I don't know if it feels like the changing of the seasons or something. It's freaking allergies. I hate allergies. They're the worst. I believe I was right. I think Author did everything by the book. And CC Moore's with Author, right? Not Parabon. She's with Author because there's 2 that's like big, like Parabon and then Author are 2 big DNA companies. And I think she's with Author. I think she's the one that did these. She's the best there is. Why not? I mean, I probably have best look over this kind of stuff. So that's the article. Thank you for listening to me read that. I appreciate that. I know it's painful to you guys. I try to make it not so painful. And I try to make it, he writes in just very, very strange, but I'm starting to finally get his writing. It's only taken me 8 parts of about an article, like 8 articles in a book. We're doing good over here. We're doing great. We're doing great. But we did read the whole book too, so that's pretty cool of us to do that. Well, yeah, I wanted to see if you guys want to go over that later. So let me put that there. So Ann Taylor has, filed some things. We may go through them like throughout the week, but for the most part, she's filed motion to strike the death penalty, motion to strike the death penalty. There's like what, 1, 2, 3 of those: international law, contemporary standards of decency and vagueness. Oh wait, and failure to present aggravators. So there's 4 there. And then motion to strike states grounds of arbitrariness, motion to strike the death penalty, motion to strike utter disregard aggravator. Now, I'm wondering, because Anne puts in all of these motions, right? And then the next one, I'll share with this tab with you. And then the next one is order granting defendant's motion to change venue. Like, I wonder if he saw on all these filings coming in, right? And he probably said, I don't have to do this. I can go back to, prosecuting DUIs and whatever else. You know what I mean? Like thefts and stuff. Like, really, what do you get? Like, what is he getting at Moscow? Like in Latah County? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm sure there's a few bad seeds out there, but for the most part, I think he's probably used to not dealing with all of this. This is a lot for anybody, He's done a great job, I think. I wish he would have made more decisions on the spot, but I understand, I hope the next judge, like, I hope he reads the names right. I hope that they're not nervous. I hope they don't show their nervousness, because we're like vultures. We're going to be hating on anybody. I feel like we're going to hate on people, because we're going to have to see all these families having to drive 6 hours, uprooting their lives. I don't know how they're going to do it. How do you afford it? How can anybody afford that? Like, you would need like double of what you make. You would have to have that like, because you'd have to be making your house payment, but you also have to stay somewhere. So you have to have that living expense. And then you have to see if your work will give you 6 weeks off or 8 weeks off or 10 weeks off, or, thank goodness most companies, I think, would. I don't know. Yeah, people do need to we need to do donations. Yeah, they need a GoFundMe or something. Like each family that wants to go, like if you want to go, we'll do a GoFundMe. If you don't want to go, don't have to do one. But that's a good idea, Mary Beth. Really, these parents they need to be able to see this trial. I would be like that. I would be so upset. Like, I don't even know if there's a spot. I don't even think there's a spot in Ohio that they could throw, like they could put like a trial for me that would make 6 hours for me to get there. I don't even know if going up the whole state is 6 hours. But just that's crazy. Yeah. Let me write that down. Where's my oh, let me write it up here, because I don't want to get the dog. I forgot the dog was right there. Yeah, I'll either start it or I'll reach out to the family. Like, at least I could reach out to the Gonzalez family on, Facebook, and be like, hey, do you mind if we start you one? Or are you guys starting one? Because gosh, that's sad. That's just sad. That's wrong. Latah County should have to front that bill, personally, in my opinion. Now, do you guys know this? I don't know this. Do you know if can Bill quit? Like, since this trial is getting moved out of his county, does he technically have to go with it? Or Is it like kind of one of those things where it's like he could pass it off to the prosecution down there or no? You would think if, I guess if it's his case, he'd have to try it. But I don't know. I don't know if he can get out of it. I was just wondering if he'd pull the plug and be like, I'm out too. But, I mean, I don't see him doing it. I think he's going to retire on this case, but I don't think he wants to go to Ada County to do it. You think Thompson stays on the case? I think so too. But I was wondering, I wonder if he could just be like, I'm out. And then court staff has to, like, they said they'd have to take their court staff, but I mean, I guess they would have court staff there. That's true, Ladybug. Yeah. Maybe we could do like a extra GoFundMe for them in case they decide they want to go. Like some of the other families decide they want to go. And if there is something there, then, and they don't go, we just take it and put it towards something for them. They should have to provide food. Yeah. They should for the families. I mean, it's ridiculous. You think Maddie's dad will go? I think Maddie's dad will go too. Xana's mom, when she was like on YouTube the couple times that she was on, she sounded like she was going to go. And then I've never seen her at any hearings. I mean, I'm not there myself to know who's there, but you know, usually the news is there. So. West, you're absolutely right. Yeah, he hasn't given up. He won't give up. I could see Steve walking there. I could see him getting mad. I could see Christy not moving fast enough and Steve being like, I'm walking, you know, like, and her having to pick him up on the way or something. I could just see that. I could see that. Like, I'm just gonna walk. But basically, Bryan Kohberger's defense attorneys won this little mini, you know, this motion. It's not mini, it's a pretty big one. You know, motion to change venue, which I personally think a lot of it had to do with the size of the county. That survey that went out, that did nobody any favors. I think that made it seem like I think a lot more people thought that Bryan was like 100% guilty after they got off those phone surveys than when they first got on them, because of the questions and the way they were asked. And it was all like, do you know that Bryan stalked the victims? Do you know that this was done? Like, it was always pointing to Bryan being guilty. And so, you know, people will be persuaded by that. But CNN did an article. It just says that that the judge ruled Monday to remove the upcoming murder trial of Bryan Kohberger it says, due to concerns that local community in Moscow is prejudiced against him. And yeah, probably so, you know. I mean, I can't say anything about them moving it. I really didn't want them to move it because I want the family to be able to get there and see this. And I feel like it says something. It's powerful. It would have been really powerful if he was coming up in that jail, sitting in that courtroom, right where you could see 1112 or 1122 King Road, right there. You know what I mean? Like, if the house was there, you would have been able to see it. All of it's like right there, close to each other. Like, I think that it would have said something. But put him in the big boy court, and he's probably going to be crapping himself a little bit. You think? Yeah, I think that's what yeah, Ashley, yeah. Well, it worked. That's what I think too. I think that they did that, yeah, purposely. Yeah, I was about to come find you, West. I was like, where can I find her? I said, oh, Brooks. But it was Sunday. That's what it was when we talked about it. And I was like, she doesn't go live on Sundays. Because we want to make sure you're okay. If I would have saw you over there, though, I'd have been like, oh, did I do something wrong? I'm just kidding. I wouldn't. I knew you'd be back. I knew you'd be back with me. I'm like, where's my trial girl? My trial is going to be starting here soon. Sarah Boone. Oh, man, Sarah Boone. I was just reading this a little bit. This is stuff that we already know, so I won't read all that out to you. But I will show you guys this video that came out because I haven't got a chance to watch this myself, and I thought we'd watch it together. It just came out 8 hours ago. So Let me stop doing that. Okay. Also, I need to make a community post. We were covering a case. It's been like probably 6 months since we covered it. I don't know. It might have been longer than that. It might have been shorter than that. I'm not good with time. But it was Shanna Garner. She's on trial or getting ready to go on trial for hiring someone to unalive her ex-husband. I don't know if you guys remember that case, but I thought about covering it, again on the channel, because it, like, there wasn't really anything going on, and now I'm hearing more. So let me know if you guys remember that case, and we can cover it, because it sounds like it's going to be getting really good. Let's try to see if I could find Jared Bridegan is the victim's name. He went out to drive his daughter or his kids home. Like, he has kids with Shanna. He was going to take his kids home and then drop them off, and he was on his way back with his 2-year-old in the back seat when he come across a tire in the middle of the road. So he stopped his vehicle to get out of his car to move the tire out. When he did that, a guy came out and shot him, unalived him in front of his 2-year-old daughter. So that case is getting ready to start. I don't know if you guys remember that one, but we'll go back through all of it, because I think that would be a good one to look at too, because she did all the things. She had a boyfriend, and her boyfriend hired him this guy, and I think I have a timeline and everything for that case. So let's go over this. Breaking news. Oh, sorry, that was loud. Sorry, guys. Let me turn that down a little bit.
Welcome back to Court TV Live. I'm Kelly Craft, sitting in today for Ted Rollins, along with Julia Janae. We do have some breaking news to tell you about. The trial out there in Idaho for Bryan Kohberger. The judge has granted the defense motion for a change of venue. So a big development there in that case out of Idaho.
Absolutely. The defense has been trying to get it out of Latah County, there where those 4 University of Idaho students were tragically killed inside of that off-campus apartment. And they've wanted to get it to a bigger county, Ada County, where Boise, Idaho, the capital of the state is. And now we are getting word into our Court TV newsroom that the judge is agreeing to let that change of venue happen. So this could really change how things unfold, especially for jury selection in this case.
We just got into our newsroom a copy of the...
In my opinion, this to me proves that these smaller towns in Idaho can't handle big cases. That's what this is showing me. Within 1 year, we're going to have 3 of them. Correct me if I'm wrong, but we have Lori Daybell, Valo Daybell, Chad Daybell. Now we're going to have Bryan Kohberger. That's a lot of people going to Ada County. Might as well just ship them all there. Might as well just, make it the place to be.
The judge's decision.
And he wasn't there. Okay, where has Jay Logston been? Okay, because he has not been in the last 6 hearings. Did they fire him? And who's this lady with the gray hair? I don't remember her. Maybe she's been there and I just don't remember her. Usually it's the girl with the brown hair there.
So it's pretty long. We were taking a look at it. It went through all the details that are known so far in this case. And he really talked about the totality of the circumstances here. And that is exactly why he decided to grant this motion to change venue. I think we're going to bring in our guest now, Julia.
Yeah, let's bring in criminal defense attorney Joseph Tully, who is standing by. Joseph, we've been watching this case from the very beginning, and there was a question of whether the judge would grant this. It can be rare for a change of venue to be approved by a judge. Your thoughts on the
Not in Idaho.
judge's decision in this case?
Well, you're absolutely correct. It is incredibly, incredibly rare for a judge to grant a change of venue. It's a very complicated motion, very time-consuming, and you have to hire, experts that bring in statistics, analyze media.
And Taylor already did all that.
Obviously, this is going to be an unpopular decision for a judge to take the sense of justice away from a community to try their own case. However, I think that the judge made the right call.
Thanks,
These
Ladybug.
crimes were so heinous and so well covered on the media that even if there was if there was a conviction in the case in that town, there really would have been a big chance for an appeal to win based on.
I wonder if they did that crap on purpose, right? They have Jay Logston, right? Because he's a big guy. They have him on Zoom because they're like, he's so big he can't even fit into the courtroom next to Kohberger. You know what I mean? Like, because it is a little jam packed. It'd be a little packed over there if you had Jay sitting on the end. You know, remember, like I think last time he was like sitting behind everybody. It was very awkward.
On the trial was not
But I wonder if
fair.
that's part of their like tact. You know, like they're like, okay, this is what we're gonna do. We're just gonna put Jay on the screen for a little while, and the judge just has to do Zoom with them.
And so I think the judge made the right call by being able to move the case and preserving the sanctity of the jury's verdict.
The state was hopeful that it wouldn't be moved. Let's go ahead and play a little bit of the state's argument.
Finally, since we are talking about the interests of justice in the convenience prong of the rule, it is completely appropriate for the court to also consider the fact that most of the victims' families, not all of them, but most of them, live closer to Latah County than they do to Boise.
And that is something, Joseph, that the judge had to take into account. And again, in his ruling, we're just kind of getting through it right now, but it did say I have to take everything into consideration here. Obviously, that was one of the factors.
Oh, of course, yes. And that's why this was a difficult decision for the judge, because there's a community here and victims and witnesses and law enforcement, court personnel that now have to try this case, you know, away from the community at greater expense and greater inconvenience to the party. However, the judge has to weigh in terms of all total justice. Can this accused person get a fair trial? And in extreme situations like this, where you have an extreme case and you know the accusations are extreme, that's when you will see these change of venues motions are granted, but they're very incredibly rare. It's a very high burden to make. But I think the judge, like I said before, made the right call because otherwise, if there's a conviction in a case and it wasn't a fair process, then the defense can turn around and appeal and say, look at this media coverage. It was biased. This person, yes, they were convicted, but they did not get a fair trial. So I think in the long run, the judge made the absolute right call and sort of foreclosed that appellate issue by moving the trial now.
Do you think it will make a difference when it comes to these jurors and how many of them will be impacted by outside coverage, having known about this case beforehand? Because this was national news. And I do want to go back to what the defense said during this change of venue motions hearing that we covered that happened, of course, before this order came out. Let's take a listen back to that and get your thoughts on it, Joseph.
It's hard to imagine that one of those jurors who all of a sudden said, you know what, I'm not sure, and listened to more evidence and said, I'm really not sure. I don't think he did it. Are they going to be brave enough to do that, to write not guilty, to say not guilty, and to stand their ground? That comes right to impartiality. Imagine with me that we are here in June of 2025, and we're here, and we've seated 16 or so people over here. You're going to recognize some of them. People that sit in the courtroom in our audience that want to come and listen to the trial are going to see them. Even if they don't listen to the trial, people are going to know whose car leaves their driveway every morning to get to the courthouse by 8:30 for 3 solid months.
Now that I don't think so. No, I mean, other than you missing at work, like you don't get to the other destination at work and then your work colleagues, they'll find out. But your neighbors are not going to be like, oh, there goes John. He pulled out of here at 7:30 and it takes an hour to get to the courthouse. I bet he's going to the courthouse. What? That just sounds, you know what I mean? Like a little ignorant, Anne, you know, like look at John. Look at the judge's face. He's not even buying that part. I mean, it was real good until you said that. Look at Kohberger looking at her. He's actually looking. Because you only get him every once in a while looking the other way. Mostly straight ahead, you know?
Jurors that sit over there are going to feel an immense amount of pressure to answer the call of the community to be.
See, I'm too dang stubborn. If I thought somebody wasn't guilty, I would say not guilty. Like, what are you going to do to me? Nothing.
Safe.
And Joseph, I understand you've been able to get cases moved that you have handled. Just talk about that convincing of a judge, because sometimes when you have cases that are this high profile, judges say no matter where we go, people are going to know about this case and recognize certain parties.
Sure. So that is always a counter argument that a prosecutor can say is, look, judge, everybody's going to know about this case. As you noted, this was a case that received national headlines. However, you have an extreme situation where you have a very small, tight-knit community where you just heard from the argument that there's going to be peer pressure, community pressure, and the saturation of the media coverage and the town talking amongst themselves is going to be so much greater in a small, tight-knit community. Whereas if you move it to a bigger city, a larger venue, you're never going to get a perfect jury. You're never going to get jurors who have never heard of anything, but you have a better chance of getting a fair jury. And that is what we want. We always want a fair jury, no matter how heinous the accusation, no matter how much media coverage the crime gets. We always need a fair jury for anybody. Anybody should be entitled, anybody in this country is entitled to a fair jury. So I think that the judge moving it increases those odds. And again, it's not going for perfection, because you can never get that. It's going for the most fair situation that you could get in any granted circumstance.
And Joseph, defense counsel really put forth a lot of arguments in regard to wanting this change. They brought in a lot of experts talking about just different media coverage. And there was some kind of analysis saying that where the murders took place, that with Washington State, actually the media coverage, the market, they were saying was actually bigger.
I was trying to say that her hair looked like the world's best blowout. It rejected my comment on my own YouTube. What the heck is going on with life if I can't even write something about a blowout in her hair? Meaning like her hair's like fluffy. What the heck?
But I really did think that the judge was going to end up moving it just to, as we talked about in the beginning here, avoiding something happening here on appeal. Better safe than sorry, just trying to ensure that Kohberger, can get a fair trial. Any other thoughts on that?
Well, yes, that's exactly what you have to do to win these kinds of motions. You have to bring in multiple experts, and it's very statistics, a lot of statistics, and it's very thick. The expert reports are very, very thick, hundreds of pages long, and they go through every type of media, radio, social media, television coverage, and they analyze it in terms of raw statistics. And so those experts are very expensive, and the reports are very dense. And I think that, that's just part and parcel of these motions. When people talk about change of venue, unless you have experts who can talk about pages and pages and reams of data, you won't have a chance of winning this. And here, because this is an extreme situation, they were able to win.
Kelly, when you mentioned Washington State, here's what it brought up for me. The distance. We were always thinking about the distance between Washington State, where Bryan Kohberger was a student, and the distance between the University of Idaho and where he would have had to travel. With this change of venue, and I know you've been to Boise covering the Daybell trial, but they're not going to be able to do any type of jury views in this case. The jury is not going
What are they going to do? Go view an empty lot?
to be able I would think, and Joseph, I'd love to get your opinion on that. I don't see them taking this jury back out to Latah County to look at the location where the home was. We know the home has been demolished. It is no longer there, but they won't be going to any type of scene or driving along the same route that prosecutors allege Bryan Kohberger would have taken.
Well, absolutely not. Right? They're not gonna bus up there like 40 people. You know what I mean? By the time you got the judges, you got the defense, you got 16 jurors, you got, you know what I mean? You have to have the extra jurors come. It would just be a lot of people just to ship them up to go down a road. If you're going down that road in the middle of the day and not at 4 or 5 in the morning, you're not going to get the same feel. I mean, it's just not the same. You can't half-ass an experiment and expect to have an a legit outcome. Do you know what I mean? Like, you'd have to go back to the scene and drive between the hours of like 3 and 5. Or, you know, Bryan Kohberger says he's out driving around midnight. So, but I mean, yeah, you wouldn't be able to do that.
Because that's not.
I mean, or what are you going to do? Like yell in the parking lot and be like, can you hear me over there? Like, I mean, there's nothing there. There's just nothing there. And that is real. That irks me also with what they did with, the Gonzalez family didn't even know. Like, they knew it was happening, but they thought it was happening. We all thought it was happening at like 7 o'clock. And that crap started happening at like 6:45, 6:50. They rolled in there like they knew what they were doing.
Not even going to be an option if they are that far away.
I agree with you. So in that sense, this was a big win for the defense. However, I don't think this is a situation where it will make that big of a difference to the prosecution. The jury field trips is what I call them, are pretty rare. We've seen them on court TV be utilized in a very positive way for the prosecution. Here, I think the prosecution will now rely on maps, Google Earth, you know, that type of thing, rather than going to the actual scene. But in this situation, because the house has been demolished, that would have been the only reason I think that a judge would have granted a jury to go look at the evidence.
Yeah, good point. But even
because nobody cares about where Bryan Kohberger lived. I mean, you know, no offense.
Julie, when we were out there for the Daybell case, a lot of us had been talking just because there's some downtime when you're covering a trial. Oh, maybe we'll take a ride up here. I mean, this is a big area out here in Idaho, and it was going to take us a long time to get up to the area where this murder took place. And so, yeah, to your point, you can't exactly have the jury views.
Sure.
Okie dokie, okie dokie. Let me turn my camera back on. I'm like, I was all up in that camera. My camera's actually over here, but I feel like it's right there. Feel like it's right there. I wanted to read this statement for you guys from the Gonzalez family, but it's fine. I just deleted it off of there, you know. Now I can find it. Bryan hadn't had it. Okay. This is sad. That, you know, this wasn't on their Facebook, so I think this looks like a text message. To me, it looks like a text message. So they probably text this to Bryan Enton because Bryan's been at every court hearing. He's the first one in line. Like, he's there. I remember when this case, like the trial or the court hearings were like really early in the morning, and he would be there like 6 a.m. Like, I'm out here outside waiting. Like, he was always waiting. He was always first. I was like, I'm going to super glue myself to that guy because I knew I'd always make it in for trial. So BK Gap, he gets to move to a bigger, well, hold on. Actually, wait, hold on. That's a good question. That's a great question. That's a great question, DM. I actually was thinking that earlier, and the thought went in my head, and then it completely it went away, and then I forgot all about it. Like, that's a great question. I would say they will house him there in Latah County, like continue to keep him there until the trial. And then maybe, you know, like a week or so before the trial, send him up there. I don't really know. I'm really curious though. Let's see if we can like type that into Google. If Google will give us an answer. Well, Bryan Doesn't say. But now I feel like we need to find out. Because they didn't specify where the trial would be moved yet. But I think they're going to say Ada County. I mean, that's the one that was on Ann Taylor's list. She had like 3 on there, I think. And that was like the one she really wanted to go to. But the other ones, I think, were just like right outside of the county. Like they were connecting counties to Latah. So that might be a little better. And she did say that one of them, she wouldn't mind if it was there or something. I remember her like tiptoeing around it. It doesn't say, but I mean, because he's going to have to, he has his right to be there. They're not going to risk, I mean, bringing him 6 hours every day. They'd have to leave at like midnight or like 2 a.m., When was the last time a crime like that happened? Well, I know of the Roden massacre, Pike massacre. 8 people were unalived in one night on a property in multiple houses. They had like a little compound of people. Look, so let me read this to you, and then I wanted to show you something really like cool too. Okay, so because Ohio actually did something right for once. And we're not doing right over here at all. I don't know what's going on with Ohio, but I don't claim it. I don't claim what's going on around here. I don't know what is going on around here. I saw something today about a lady complaining about Springfield, and I don't know, like people were eating each other's animals or something. I don't know. It's out of my wheelhouse. I don't know what's going on in Ohio, but what is wrong with people? Just wanted to tell you about that because that really bothered me earlier when I saw that. I was like, oh my God, what am I seeing? People are weird. So this is the Goncalves family statement. The family is incredibly disappointed in the judge's ruling granting the change of venue. The only good thing about this decision is it will be Judge's last decision in the case. The family has always felt that Judge favored the defense, and it was a common theme that whatever the defense wanted or needed, they got. The written decision is even more informative. If the judge knew Latah County could not handle this trial for safety reasons, not enough court clerks, logistics, and lacking space, why did we waste over a year in a county he knew he was not going to handle the trial? The points he mentioned didn't all of a sudden jump up and bite him in the rear. Another issue was the poor cross-examination by the state of the defense's expert witnesses. A judge can only rely on the evidence presented, and when you don't properly cross-examine expert witnesses or present any of your own, you are left relying on the opinions of the defense. They mad at you, Bill. Then let's not forget the massive contradiction of having a University of Idaho employee as an expert witness, Alza cover, and at the same time allowing Scott Green, the University of Idaho president, to write a book claiming to be an integral part of your investigation. Finally, what was the point of the non-dissemination order? Private hearings, closed-door tactics, allowing the defendant to be dressed in a suit for every televised hearing, etc., if not to keep the trial in Latah County. As victims' families, you are left to just watch like everyone else, and really you have little rights or say in the process, and at the same time, you are the most vested in the outcome. I'll read that again. This is sad, but true. As victims' families, you are left to just watch like everyone else. And really, you have little rights or say in the process. And at the same time, you are the most vested in the outcome. We have always felt that a fair and impartial jury could be found in Latah County and still believe that is where the trial deserves to be held to help the community heal. Thank you again for all of your support and prayers. It's sad. Everybody grieves differently, Oh, okay. I'll look on my badger. I haven't checked my email. I'm just reading the chat. What'd you get, Mary Beth? Oh, crime. Oh, they let you pay in 2 payments. That's pretty cool. I think Sheila thinks the longer it takes BK. Yeah, better for BK. Yeah. She's going down. She's going so down. She got herself a new lawyer. I was kind of hoping she'd represent herself. Thought it'd be a little entertaining, but then it wouldn't be that entertaining because it would have been awful. I'm glad she's got somebody to answer her wanted ad. Oh my gosh. He said that too. He said, I want the wanted ad. Man, let's see. They still have not caught that guy, the Kentucky guy. He's got to be, no longer here, I feel like. But where would he be? I don't know. It's just very weird. I was going to look to see if there was anything else. Wanted to show you. Oh, our dude Nick came out with a non-update. Let's see if he did one on. He did it on. I saw it on Twitter. So I don't know if he did it on YouTube or not. Yeah, an hour ago, 15 minutes. So, and no updates to report. I'm sorry to laugh. It's not funny. It's not. It's just, this is what he's going to do every day. And he thinks he's doing something that we all haven't been doing for the last 6 months. Right? PJ's second chance. Why did he even take this case on? I mean, why did he allow this to go on in his courtroom for that long is beyond me. If he thought, okay, this is like beyond my wheelhouse, I just need to get out of this. He should have said something a while ago. He should have, Yeah, that's what it reminds me of, Faith. Almost like another Cavalcante. But I didn't cover Cavalcante the first time. But this guy, I'm more intrigued. I don't know why. I think it's just because we've watched a little more about it. No, it hasn't affected. Actually, I think the enrollment levels went up. The enrollment levels went up. I think for a while they went down, like right after Christmas or something like that. And then they went like right back up. Well, that sounds good, Lenora. Dang, you guys be eating some good stuff. I don't really like pierogies, but my nieces and nephews love pierogies. My mom used to make them. I don't ever eat like good food. Like I don't have a good palate. Like, I don't know. I need, like, I have a palate of like a 5-year-old. But yeah, so tomorrow morning, I think I'm gonna come on again like I did today, or afternoon, probably around noon at the same time. And we'll go over Nick's update. Because it's entertainment for me and for you guys. Because this guy is just so out of left field. And I gotta make sure the misinformation doesn't get out. I mean, if he's gonna put it out there, I'm gonna put out the information. Now, Betty goes to court tomorrow. Betty. Now, let's see. Does she do a live? Because she didn't earlier. Let's see. She's live right now. I'm alive. Busy day. Oh, my God. Don't go to her live. Don't go there. Don't go over. Don't go there. Don't go over there. Don't you go over there. Oh, God, Betty. Put those away. Put them girls away. Is she laying down? Okay. You guys tell me what she's doing. What is she doing? What is she doing? What is she laying down? I'm showing you. I'm showing you what's going on over there. And this was just worse a second ago. I promise you it was. Betty, put your girls away. Put them things away, girlfriend. Don't make me do that change.org petition about you having to wear a bra. I mean, I understand if you don't want to, because I hate wearing bras myself, girlfriend. I hate them. I hate them more than anything. I do. I loathe them. Like winter, fall and winter, for me, the only part about that is your girl is not wearing a bra to take out these dogs. I just ain't doing it. I ain't doing it. But then again, I put a sweater on and a jacket. I don't just willy-nilly with a tank top on. What if one of those things pops out? She's cooking yogurt. Oh my. I rarely take mine off. She said, me, not me. I hate bras. I hate them so bad. I hate them so bad. Really? Well, they say that's actually, I heard that's actually good for you to wear them a lot because then gravity doesn't take over when you get older, but I don't know. That's what my mom used to tell me. She's like, I hear the bras are good, but I've never liked them. Should be mandatory for a life monitor. It should be. It should be. Pants. Pants and a bra. I mean, I steam my shirt and everything before I come on live. I don't know what's wrong with me though. I really don't. I don't know. I'm like, I don't know what's wrong with me, but I do. I'd be like steaming and everything. But I think that's because I own a boutique. Like, even if I look like I don't, everybody that owns a boutique that I've met, none of us look like we do. We all look like we need some fashion advice. But here we are. And I used to be real small like that. And then I got bigger. I don't know where these things came from, but yeah. The bralette. Oh yeah, I like the bralettes. I love the bralettes. And then there's some for plus sizing. Those ones are super soft. I don't know what I don't know what they feel like on, but they're really soft. She thinks that she's put in jail. There's going to be a nationwide riot against Sumner County. Oh my gosh, I bet she does. Someone was saying Dog the Bounty Hunter was going to be there. I don't know. I heard Seth Rogers is going. He said in the chat he was going to be there to back her up. We'll see. That's just weird. Like, if you're hiring in these people are coming in and you're trying to like set a good example, right, Seth? Like, I figured you, like, Nick the Hat and Dog and all them, you'd want to set like a pretty good example, right? Like, you want them to like you. You probably wouldn't show up with Betty to a court hearing where they're getting a protection order and 6 violations of protection orders. Like sit that one out, bruh. Let me see. Which one was it? Yeah, because it just took me to the page. It took me just to the oh wait, here it is. Oh yeah, I'll have to go over that with you guys. Yeah, he's been saying a lot. Oh my gosh, they already got Betty. Look at this. Oh my gosh, they've already got her on here. They've already got her on Facebook. It's not funny, but it is. It's not funny. I'm not laughing at Betty's looks. I'm laughing at the situation because this is what we've come to. This is what we've come down to. We're over here looking on Bullhorn Betty's page at her boobs, telling her she needs to wear a bra. We still haven't found Sebastian. I feel like I literally feel like I'm starting to get loopy with this case when it comes to this, Oh man. Oh, I never wear one unless so we live in an apartment and they said, I hate maintenance stuff because they never show up when they say they're going to be here, right? They just don't do it. I'm one of those people, if you knock on my door, I'm going to freak out and I'm going to go hide. I don't know what it is. I do know what it is, but it's like, it's just PTSD. It's fine. It's just what I do. I like to know when someone's going to be at my front door. It's just a thing. It's been like that for 10 years. People know this about me. That I have told these people that this apartment, 7 years now, that nothing's changed. They will straight come up, knocking on the door, and I will just be like, so they're supposed to be coming up to like clean the dryer vents or something. Wouldn't you do that outside? Like the dryer vents connected to the outside, you probably need to go from that area. Maybe. I don't know. Put a hose in that. So wouldn't it be easier than going in each apartment? Because you'd have to move out the appliance to get to the vent. Yeah, when the phone rings, yeah. Oh, speaking of which, I gotta call Misty back. Misty's gonna beat me. Oh, I forgot. Misty's having a wedding, and I think she wants jackets for these dresses that she got, and we can't do jackets. We're just all gonna have to freeze. I don't know how to tell her that, but yeah, act like we're 19. She said, she texted me earlier. She's like, I think I need to get jackets for the dresses. I think she's finally realizing, hey, this is going to be in October, but it's not, it's the first couple weeks of October. It'll be fine. We'll be fine. I wonder if this wedding's outside. So I'm having a feeling, I'm starting to get a little feeling it's going to be outside. And if that's the case, I'm going to need like a warmer, like underneath my dress. And I did get your email, the one with the, with the Facebook thing. I'll have to look and see if there's any more later. They usually do that from that side. That's what I thought. So maybe if it's just in case they need to come in, like, you're like jam-packed. But see, like, just if you want to come in, that's cool. Just let me know. Plus it's like the dogs. So now I gotta wear a bra all day long. Just kidding. I don't. I just snap one on. But it's just easier because I have dogs, and they don't like people. This brown one, my Araya, she looks so cute on this blanket. She's just not a people person. Like, the neighbor was walking out and I didn't know what to do. And I'm like holding the dogs, and Araya just goes up and he like goes to pet her. And I thought she was going to be cool. And she's like, "Ah." And I was like, oh my God, Araya. But he didn't say anything. And I was like, oh my God. And Vincent was like, did she bite him? I'm like, I don't think so. But she tried, like, she just tried to, like, it's like a play bite. It's not hard bite. It's like you can barely feel it, but she just does it. And I think I started her on it because I thought it was cute a couple times she did it. And now I'm like, ugh, she's doing it to other people. But, no one will mess with me. Oh, wow, Nash Native, I'm sorry. I did. And oh my gosh, I highlighted that. Thank you. Oh my gosh, thank you, Ladybug. I highlighted that, Cheryl, and I meant to tell you thank you. And I was just talking. I'm so sorry. Thank you, Cheryl, for gifted 5 memberships. Thank you so much. I don't know what I think because I saw email and then I was like, Cheryl's my girl. Thank you, Cheryl. And then I saw Lady. See, you guys will let me know. You'll let me know. Ooh, I want to do Wonderland. I did one here last year. Let's do one here and at your place. I have like 4 trees. Is that too many? 4? I think there's 4. And then we got all skinny trees this year or last year. Oh yeah. I can't wait to decorate for Christmas. That's like, what I'm looking forward to. Actually, I'm looking forward to putting some pumpkins out. I'm gonna have to have Vincent go out. I think it's Tuesday or Monday. It'll be Tuesday. I want them now. I don't want to wait till this weekend. Okay, I'm gonna get off here. Maybe he'll want to go out there right now. I'm just kidding. I don't think he'll go out there right now, but maybe I can get him to go and be like, I think I showed you everything. Yeah, I'm like, did I show you everything? Man, Betty. I showed you guys enough, I think. I think I showed you enough. Man, Betty's going to have to start charging people to be in her chat. Oh, and I want to say something. If anyone ever has to like put their chat like on like a certain mode, you could always do like if you were getting like trolls and stuff, or like there's a lot of trolls in that chat or something, you can always put it on like subscriber for 5 days, like Betty does. So that way it keeps only like the people that are cool with you in your chat. You know what I mean? I just thought of that. Oh, yes. Ashley, you did. I like the cardinal tree. I still think of it. I like the cardinal one. I think I sent you, I put pictures up here. I sent them to you. I probably sent them to you too. But yeah, we had, oh my gosh, we got a lot of new stuff. I don't even remember all the stuff we got. We got like new bulbs, new lights, new everything. All the new decorations. We threw all the old ones, I think, out, except for I broke something. That was my mom's. 2 things. Linux. They were Linux too. Oh, break my heart. I broke them not too long ago too. But so we're down 2. But those are the only ones I kept. Were like the Linux decorations. Those were like, worth to keep because they're, They're like, I don't know, they're porcelain and stuff. Some of, like your decorations, they start to look like older. I don't know. Oh, maybe I'll have to send you another cardinal from my cousin. She passed this year. Damn, we're going to need a whole damn cardinal tree over here too. Ashley has a really pretty tree. It has cardinals all over it. For the people, people, when you see cardinals, that's your loved ones. That's your lost loved ones, We have cardinals here. They come and we see them all the time. Like there's two that I can recognize. One of them is like a skinny bird. One of them has like a little bit of a belly. And I say one is my dad and one is Vincent's dad. Because my dad was like tall and lanky, and his dad didn't have a big belly or nothing, but he just had he's just a regular guy, regular dad bod. But I always see these two cardinals. So I told Vincent that one time because his dad passed like 4 years ago. So he didn't know that about cardinals. So we always see them, and because we have trees right behind our balcony, and so like they're always just like right out there. I'll have to take a picture. I know I have pictures like on my phone somewhere. You do dragonflies for those who passed? I've never heard of the dragonflies. That's a cute idea, sweet Melissa. You have a cardinal website, Jerry? Look at that. That's cool. That's really cool. You built a cardinal website while I was working through grief. Oh my gosh, Jerry, that's really cool. What's you can't put the website in, but you could put like the name, just don't put the .com part. You know what I mean? So it doesn't like block your comment. But if you put the name of it, like space it out, it should be okay. Wow. I bought a stack of old songbooks at Goodwill last year and made paper ornaments for my tree. That's really cool, Anna. That's a cool idea. I mean, I'm not crafty. I'm the worst when it comes to like penmanship or drawing, coloring, staying in the lines. I'm not artsy. I didn't get that gene. My friends are all super artsy and I'm so jealous of them. I'm good at visualizing like clothing stores and stuff like that. Like visualizing stores, I could do that. But like, I don't know, like putting things and making them look neat and like orderly. I'm good at that kind of stuff. But I don't know, some of y'all like have drawing skills like I've never seen. Like one of my best friends, she can draw really well. A lot of my friends actually can draw really well. Not me. You got a new cardinal blanket today? Oh, Jerry's not messing around with the Cardinals. She got a cardinal blanket, cardinal website. I love that. Oh yeah, the blowout. Yeah. It told me it was like, looks like spam. I'm like, okay then. Wood burning art. That sounds like fun, Mary Beth. You guys are crafty. You designed tattoos, Ashley? That's pretty cool. Man, you guys are, not me. I could tell you guys are crafty though, and artsy. Like, I don't know. I just never got it. I've always wanted to be. My writing looks like chicken scratch. Vincent's like, how do you read this? And I'm like, what do you mean? And I didn't realize this until he told me after 38 years, or what, 30, we'll say 32 years or something of writing. I don't know how long I've been writing, but I forgot what I was going to say now. Something about writing. Oh, I write, half of my writing is like in just regular handwriting, and then half of it's like cursive. And I didn't realize that I do that. Like a whole word will be like, it could be the T will be like cursive, and then the H and the E will be straight. I don't know why I do that. Really? The Mud Pie brand's a pretty good brand. That we carried that brand a little bit in the boutique that I worked at before. Not a whole lot. But I think it's because it was such like a popular brand, maybe. I don't know. I don't know why they didn't have more Mud Pie stuff. Everyone likes Mud Pie, it seems like. I mean, who doesn't like something that says spoons on it that you put your spoons in? It says spoons. Put your spoons in there. already labeled for you. I could see me totally getting really anal with that kind of stuff if I did that. I'm gonna have like everything mud pie. You do it too, Ashley? Yeah, I do it. I'm like, whoops, I didn't know. I was like, I didn't realize I did that, but I do. We can. We could do a Halloween party. What are you gonna dress up as? I'll bring Nancy. You do diamond art? I never dress up either. Maybe we should. I have the whole canister. What is that from? You probably got the spoon container. There's a little boutique at our mall. What's it called? It has a Pandora in there. Occasionally yours. And they have a lot of mud pie stuff. I need to get some actually. Mud pie is kind of good for like weddings, which I want to get her this picture frame if they still have it. It's Lenox and it's beautiful. It's like silver. And if you guys know, the Lenox is like an extremely expensive brand. Well, last time I got this thing for like super cheap. So I'm hoping I can find it again. I need to find that because it was like really good price. It was like under $30 or something. And they could put their wedding picture in it, like one of their wedding pictures. There you go. I think it's a good idea for a gift. And I don't want to give her money or anything because like, I don't know. I want to give her something. You don't like scary? I don't like, I mean either. Actually start fist fighting. No, that's me. I stay in. I understand that. I feel like I get scared so easily. I don't like being scared. Last year I made a sign that said nudist on strike. I was gonna go as the Kermit the Frog, the tea one, the guy that, the little Kermit the Frog tea. And I was gonna hold it up like this little sign. This was like 15 years ago, but I was gonna go as that. My sister-in-law, I was like, I found my outfit, but then I didn't end up going. I'm not a big Halloween person, but I like candy. I would think everyone likes candy though. We'll think of something to do. We'll think of something that's fun. Or maybe we all just get out of our dang comfort spots and we all get dressed up. I'll go as like, I don't know. I don't even know what I'd go as. I don't know. I find something though. Oscar the Grouch costume. I bet that's cute. What was the other one? Cookie Monster. This little boy came. I used to work at the country club, and this little baby came in as Cookie Monster, and I almost couldn't hold myself in. Like this little boy looked so adorable in his little outfit. That's so funny that you're Oscar the Grouch. We were just talking about Oscar the Grouch. He was like my favorite. You love Cookie Monster? I liked Oscar growing up. And Elmo, but I liked Oscar. I don't know. He's always yelling. I liked him. Well, good night, Em. I thought about getting my dog's costumes, but the costumes look so small at Target. I'm like, the extra large. I'm like, this looks small. She could wear like a human costume almost, I could get her one and then cut it up the front and then put some like Velcro on it. I might be artsy after all. Prince, that's so funny. That was probably a good one, sweet Melissa. That was probably a good outfit. That's like clever. I could go as like Elton. I could come as Trump. Get me a wig. Oh, I could dress up as Betty. No, I wouldn't do that to you guys. No, I wouldn't do that to myself neither. That'd be so bad. But thank you guys for being here tonight. I'm going to jump off here. I'm going to kind of want to go look for my fall decor, but it's 11 o'clock and neighbors might not like that. But, I might do it. Anyway, so thanks for being here. I will see you guys all on the streets of YouTube or tomorrow, back on the live. I think I'm going to go live in the morning. So if you're available, like morning, afternoon, early afternoon, if you're available, come hang out. Betty has to go to court. Actually, when is her court tomorrow? Let me check that real quick. I can't remember. Filings. Okay, where's it at? Hearings. This isn't the one. Let me go to search. I can't remember if it's the first one or the second one. She has two that are open. Wait, there's a new hearing. Wait. So she has, wow. Oh, damn, girl. So she has court tomorrow at 10 a.m. and then she's back in court at 2 p.m. Whoa. So what they're going to end up doing for her, probably most likely, I would think, if she goes up to 10, or whatever time she goes up in the beginning for her first court appearance, they're going to probably merge the two together. They probably will end up, if the parties are all there, earlier at an earlier time, if they're all there, the judge will just do them both at the same time and then just get her out of there. I wonder if she's going to be going to jail tomorrow. I don't know. But the first one says first appearance, and then the second one at 2 p.m. is a motions hearing. Ooh. I'm so glad I'm not in trouble. I couldn't imagine being in trouble like that, She's worried she's going to jail. Do you think so, Kenna? Is she saying it? I have to go over there and check. Okay. I'm going to jump off here. But thank you guys for being here tonight. I'll see you guys all tomorrow. Everybody just say a little prayer tonight that everything goes the way that it should go. Let's just let the world, let Jesus take the wheel at this point. You know what I mean? Because in my opinion, she needs to be seeing on the other side of a cell for a little while, even if it's just 10 days. But that's just me. That's just me. This isn't the first time she's done something like this. This isn't the second time. This isn't the third time. This isn't the fourth time. This isn't the fifth time. And then she kept doing it. It would have been one thing if they were like, you messed up. And then she was like, okay, I messed up. I shouldn't have done that. But she went right back to doing it. So good golly. Well, thank you guys for being here tonight. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Have a wonderful evening and bye.